Okay, 25, here we go. Okay, before we start looking at our worksheets, I'm just going to ask you guys a simple question. Raise your hand, give me your response. What is your guys' favorite holiday and why? I want to hear why. Issa in the back.
Halloween, because I like the entire concept, dressing up and then getting candy.
Likes to dress up and you get candy. I mean, that sounds like a party to me. Adrian, go ahead and share.
Christmas,
Christmas? Why do you like Christmas?
because it's very entertaining. You get a lot of presents and celebrate.
Yep, I love Christmas too. Madison.
Christmas because you make gingerbread houses and stuff. And
Gingerbread houses.
Starts like bringing the story of like Jesus and
Fun, I love it. Brian.
Christmas because it's Jesus' birthday on Christmas, and also because we get to go to Kyle, which is kind of a tradition.
Super special. Quentin.
My favorite holiday is Christmas, but I also love Thanksgiving because it's one of the times where all the family can get together.
Yep. It's hard to decide between Thanksgiving and Christmas for me. Sassy.
I also really like Christmas because it's the birth of Jesus, and also because we get to spend family time together and we get to open presents.
Awesome. Man, there's something about Christmas I'm not hearing. Like, there's another part of Christmas that I absolutely love. Dom.
Well, I like Christmas because when I get to celebrate with my family, I also get presents and I like the food.
Bingo. That's always good. Okay, Madison, last one. Go on.
I also like Easter because Easter like you're supposed to find eggs and everything, but also like that's
Yeah. Gannon, last one.
Mine are Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those are the two holidays like all of my family gets together.
Yeah. Getting the family together is always be special. Wait, I heard what? Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, and Halloween. I guess that's almost all of them. Anyone, any other ones? What do you Christmas Eve. Okay, that's all the replies I'm gonna ask for now. I was looking for Christmas lights. Anyone like looking at Christmas lights?
Oh yeah.
No?
I love it.
Look, I get the line and your cards are slow, but I always like seeing people's effort going into decorating their houses.
You're like my mom's brother.
So, the reason I'm asking you guys this is because I want you to think about, say if you guys have a pen pal. Do you guys know what pen pals are? So like someone from like a different country, a different culture that you guys are sending letters like back and forth. Think about if you were to tell them, trying to explain like your favorite holiday, you know? I want to hear some responses from you guys. What are like some elements you can put in like your narrative or letter that you can kind of create a clearer picture for them so that when they read it, they know exactly what you're talking about, and they're not just hearing like bits and parts of everything, like a story in a way. What are some like parts of like an element so that would you guys put in there to help create that picture? Sassy?
I would put descriptions of what we do. Like for example, my favorite one is Christmas. I would say that we would get a Christmas tree and we would decorate it, put lights on it and things like that, and describe how like hot cocoa and things like that, and like
Good descriptions, keywords, making sure everything's kind of has that picture to it. John? Give me something. What are you thinking of?
Well, I was just thinking to describe like Thanksgiving, how you get to celebrate, how the programs came out, like
Yeah,
Also,
important details.
you get a giant ham, and some mashed potatoes.
yeah, him.
No.
Okay. Adrian?
4th of July, like fireworks and loud sounds.
So, wait, can you say it one more time?
Like loud sounds and
Yep. More details. Ryan?
Big, like our Christmas because we have like big ornaments, small ornaments, and we have special ornaments.
Right.
And
Right. So like you're just think about this to kind of add on the question, your specific like holiday experience. How would you paint that picture to your pen pal friend, Jonah.
Like, figures of language, I would just probably attempt figures of language to describe it.
Great.
Nowadays, like, how to use stuff like that.
Figures of language. Perfect. And then maybe like one more. I guess 2 more. Maybe 3 more.
So like, also for 4th of July, you could say like you could describe all the food and things like that. Like,
Yep.
Like food.
Yep. Food. Matthew.
Maybe like a picture of the decoration or like.
Right. A picture or just kind of setting like creating a setting in your writing, right? So setting. That's what you were gonna say?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, last one, Ryan.
Your favorite things about that moment.
Right. Favorite thing, of course. You gotta have that in there. Nia.
You could also explain the history behind the holiday.
Yup. Great idea. Okay, so the reason I'm having you guys think about this, those are all great replies, is because I want you guys to be able to analyze what writers put in their text to help create those images in your head. So when you're reading, it's almost like a movie playing in your head. Sometimes when we read certain writings, it doesn't really give those elements, so it can often be kind of boring and not that interesting. But good writers know how to include key text structure to their writing that helps create those I don't know how to say it. I guess images in your head. Exactly. So we're gonna read a story. You guys should all have it, called "The Clever Fish" by Debbie Olson. Okay. And as I'm reading this article or this story to you, you're gonna fill out this graphic organizer. This graphic organizer, it doesn't matter. They're both the same. I guess you can start where your name is. You can put the story on the top to keep track, The Clever Fish. Okay? And as I'm reading, one sec, Levi. After each paragraph, we're going to see if we heard or if we read any elements inside that paragraph. So did we hear anything about the background? Did we hear a who, a what, a where, a when, a why? And we're going to just bullet point, like, okay, this happened in the story. Was there a problem or conflict that happened? Was there a really exciting part? That's what we call a climax, the peak of the story. So you might not hear that right away, but later on in the story, you may hear of something that seems like the climax of the story. And then finally, the resolution. So we'll stop after each paragraph and we'll analyze, see what we heard together as a group so that we kind of are all working together using our knowledge of what some might know that some may not know, so we're able to make those connections. Adrian.
Do you know how many bullets we need to put down?
It's really up to you guys and what we come up with as a class. At least for this first one. Levi.
I don't have the right paper.
Turn the page.
What?
Blank?
Yeah.
Maybe it printed wrong. I have extras. Anybody else with that issue? Hopefully not. There you go. Yeah. Let me take that other one. Perfect. Okay. So everyone understand what we're doing? Not too bad. So here we go. The Clever Fish by Debbie Olson. Are fish clever? Well, if you don't think so, you may change your mind after hearing about the unbelievable experience I had when I was 10 years old. That summer, our family went camping at Lake Edison in the Sierra Nevada mountains in Central California. My mother, father, younger sister, older brother, and I were so excited as we prepared and packed for our trip, soon to be in the beautiful, green, pine-scented mountains. We had been there before and had planned on camping at the same place, on the shore of the pool clear blue lake. My brother and dad talked excitedly about the fishing that they would do. They packed their fishing rods, tackle boxes, and bait. So let me give you guys a resource. If you guys want to highlight or use different color markers to, as I'm reading, to highlight or underline elements of the text, please feel free to do that. That'll be a huge advantage to you. Okay, so we're going to pause here, and we're going to go back to our story chart, and we're going to see if we heard anything that might fall under any of these categories. So go ahead, if you feel like you did hear something, raise your hand. I see a couple raised hands already, and let me know what we should fill in here. Perfect. We're gonna start with Julian. What'd you hear, Julian?
They were at Lake Edison.
Lake Edison. So that says aware, right?
Yeah.
We're at Lake Edison. They're describing a place. Where is the place? Lake Edison. You can read it. Ryan, what else did you hear?
Also in summer.
During the summer. Right? Mackenzie?
When mother, father, and her younger sister were together.
Right? I'm just gonna write the whole family. The speaker's family. Great job, guys. Jonah.
Swimming theme and beautiful green pine scented mountains.
Beautiful green pine scented mountains. Do you see how already the writer is creating an image of in our head by using those key details, like how what we'd smell, what we would see, where we are. So we have a lot. You guys have another one for background? Madison, go ahead and share yours.
I think for either what or why, maybe like fishing, because it talks about how it impacts the fishing stuff.
Yeah. They're gonna be camping and fishing, right?
Yeah.
Camping and fishing is what's gonna be happening. I'm kind of getting full on my backgrounds, but feel free to share. Ryan?
Shore on the clear blue lake.
Yep, they're going to be on the shore on the clear blue lake, so you can add that as well. Dom?
It's when the author was 10 years old.
When the author was 10 years old. So did this happen recently? No. It happened when they were younger. Those are another part of adding key details to your text that can really help create the image. Julian?
They went there because they went there before and they liked it.
Right. Another reason of the why. Why they went to the camp. Why they're going to be fishing there. Because they liked it. Did we hear any problems or conflicts?
No. Actually, yeah. Actually, yeah.
I haven't read that yet. But almost. But in that first paragraph, have we heard a problem or a conflict? Everything's all dandy, right? They're just going camping and they plan on fishing. Did we hear a climax? Nothing like too exciting yet. Adrian, what do you think now?
My brother and dad talked excitedly about fishing.
Okay. Okay. So that's something we'll keep in our head. I like that idea. Because it uses that word exciting, right? Is that why you're thinking that? No, that's definitely a good answer. Ryan?
My mother, father, and sister, older brother, and I were so excited as we prepared and packed for our trip.
Right. That's another big point. But the climax, I guess we can't really figure out the climax until the end of the story because the climax describes the most exciting part of the story. I agree that those people are all excited to go fishing and to go camping, but I wouldn't really consider that to be my climax just yet. Not until I finish reading. Because I'm really just not sure. We can have those ideas in the back of our mind now. Issa, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, it kind of foreshadowed the climax.
In what way?
Well, in the introduction, said something big happened.
Okay. So we know something's going to happen, but nothing's really happened yet, right? Why are the fish clever is basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then we can't really have a solution or resolution without a problem or a conflict just yet. So let's keep reading. Let's keep identifying some of these boxes. Go back here. So now we're on the second paragraph. Make sure to highlight or underline whatever strategies are good for you. I was jealous as my brother bragged about the delicious rainbow trout he had caught before and planned on catching again. I didn't know how to fish. I never caught a savory trout that we could enjoy for dinner together at the campsite. It wasn't fair. So I approached my dad and asked him if I could learn to fish. He answered, yes, of course. He brought me a little child-sized fishing rod and a cute shoebox-sized green metal tackle box. I would use my brother's worms for bait. Okay, going back to our story chart, is there anything we can add here? Is there anything we could add here? John, I'm going to call on you. Is there anything you think we could add to our boxes?
Maybe a mini climax because like it's kind of big that he's gonna learn how to fish.
Right? We can add that. Good answer. Anything else? I'm gonna try to call on new people here. So you haven't answered yet. I'm looking for an answer out of you. Brady, do you think we could add anything to our boxes?
Maybe for the problem because
Jealous of the brother. I like that. Anything else, Jet? Thanks for raising your hand.
For the problem doesn't know fish.
Doesn't know how to fish? Okay, maybe one more thing we're thinking of, Saraya.
He bought me a little child-sized fishing rod and a cute shoebox-sized green metal tackle box.
And that would go under what?
Background.
Perfect. More of those key details like you guys thought of. Important details and descriptions. Okay, just to share real quickly, go ahead.
I have a question.
Question?
Going to fish, wouldn't that be like the rising action? Because it's kind of like the most exciting part, but it's kind of like moving up.
Rising action, I like that. We're not really looking for rising action here, but you're definitely right. It's kind of leading towards the most exciting part of the story. Ryan, can't wait to share it.
One of the times I practiced maybe I would use my brother's worms for bait.
I would use my brother's worms for
Which
bait.
could
Would go under
confuse
which category?
Problem and conflict because it could confuse a fish if there's two people using the same boat.
Okay, I like it. Thank you for sharing. Okay, let's keep reading here. We got to the campsite, and my big day finally came. Early one morning, my dad and I walked about 5 minutes along the shore of the lake. We stopped at a log where I could sit near the water's edge. He showed me how to put the worm onto the hook. He taught me how to cast or throw forward the fishing rod so the line would extend out and over the water and the hooked worm would fall in. He showed me how the fishing line would shake if a fish bit the bait and was caught on the hook. He taught me how to carefully and slowly wind the line back so I wouldn't lose the fish hanging on the end. I'm going to keep reading this other paragraph. He walked back to our campsite and sat patiently. I felt happy and peaceful as I took in the mountain scenery that I love so much. The light, excuse me, the light blue sky, the tall, dark green pine trees, the smell of the bark and the pine and the campfires surrounded me, and the warm sun shone on my skin. All of a sudden, my fishing pole shook. Just like my dad had said, the line was quivering. I had caught a fish. I did as he taught me and slowly reeled it in. It was only about 7 or 8 inches long, but I didn't care. I had caught a rainbow trout that we would enjoy later for dinner. All right, so some stuff has happened in the story, right? Is there anything we can add to our story chart that the writer used to help us get that big image in our head? I love all the hands. Don't know how to choose from. Braden.
That
She caught a fish, right? That would go under where? That could be a small climax. Right? What else? What else? Scarlett, do you have anything we can add in there? Can't think of anything? Okay. How about you, Ella?
Wouldn't catching the fish also be a solution to being jealous of her brother?
Okay, I like that. You can also add she caught a fish into here. I understand your thinking there. Mackenzie?
learn how to fish for a solution.
Learn how to fish for the solution. I like it. Zach?
For climax, you can do that the fishing line is quivering.
Right? She caught a fish. Kind of similar thing. Okay, good answers. Ryan?
It was 7 or 8 inches long.
Another great addition to the background. Another important detail to give that visual. Because if we just say, I caught a fish, like, well, what kind of fish? How big was it? Was it small? Was it a goldfish? Did you get out there? What did you do? Like, how'd you get it? She's using key details to make it almost picture perfect in her mind. Julian, last one.
She reeled it in slowly.
She reeled it in slowly. That's another key detail. Good job. Okay, let's finish our story here. In my excitement, I ran back to our campsite with the fish dragging in the dirt behind me. I yelled as I ran for about 3 minutes. By the time I got back, the fish was completely covered in brown gray mud. My dad was thrilled and brought me to the shore to walk off the mud. He took the fish off the hook, placed it in his large hand. It laid as still as a rock. Next, he set it in the water and started stroking the mud off, thinking it was dead. All of a sudden, with a swoosh, it quickly swam away. Despite being out of the water, dragged in the dirt, it had stayed alive. As soon as my dad placed it in the water, it knew it could escape. For many years after that, my dad apologized to me for losing my fish. He was sure it was dead. He was completely taken by surprise to see it wriggle away. Even though we didn't have my trout for dinner that night, I was still proud I had caught a fish and thankful for the fun I had learning to fish with my dad. Nice story. Okay. Now we're starting to see some climaxes and some solutions or resolutions in our story. Nico, you have something for me? The fish swam away. Another thing, Gannon,
Fish was playing dead.
where would I put that?
Like maybe in evolution.
I think that would maybe be more background information because it's kind of a key detail that she added. Somebody new who hasn't answered, give me something. Colton, you have something for me? You don't have any resolutions that happened in the story? So think about the problems we had, right? Or the climax, what happened after those scenarios that we could jot down, that the writer gave to us to kind of further develop our story. I see a lot of hands already called on that. I want to see if I can get other people involved here. Can.
A resolution that to this day,
The dad still apologizes, but and also what? Even though the fish swam away, she didn't get all upset over it because she still had a great experience learning how to fish with her dad. That was one of our major problems in the beginning, right? She didn't know how to fish. So hold on, before I get to you, Ryan, I'm gonna add this. Dad apologizes, but she is still proud of the experience. Ryan.
Despite being out of the water and dived in the dirt and it stayed alive, I put that in the climax. So fish need water. Water is needed.
You're right. It played dead until it was in the water. I like that. Okay, last one right here, Madison.
Wouldn't a good problem with conflict be like, if the fish swam away, because that's like not good?
Yeah, I mean, sure, I can see that. That was probably our biggest problem. Okay, so do you see how these four elements of giving background, that means details, all that stuff, and adding a problem or a conflict, adding the climax, and also having a resolution, really created a story for us all, right? She could have made this story way more simpler and just said, yeah, I went to the fish a long time ago and I caught a fish and my dad lost it, but it's still cool. Like, was that story exciting or was this story more interesting? This story was way more interesting, right? Because she gave us those details and kind of added those layers, those language elements to the reading.
For one of the climaxes, you put fish swam away. Can we put that for the problem with conflict?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now that we've practiced together, you and your partner, the one person you're sitting next to, maybe groups of 3 for my groups in the front here, because there's 5. You guys can figure that on your own. You're gonna read the story, Gate 4A. It's about a lady who doesn't speak English getting stuck at the airport, and she can't understand what's happening, okay? You're gonna read this story with your group, and you're gonna fill out the story charts together. You guys are gonna have about 10 to 12 minutes to do this. It's only two paragraphs, and then we'll come in together and we'll discuss it, okay? Any questions? So yeah, you'll be able to flip over your page, and you should have a blank one on the back for the story Gate 4A. Any questions? Okay, so make sure you guys are reading this individually and then filling out the chart together with your partner, discussing elements that either you found or your partner didn't find, okay? Okay, go ahead and get started on that. Albuquerque. Also, if you're not sure how to say that, this first word up top, Albuquerque. Albuquerque. Remember, feel free to use that highlighter. That highlighter is going to be helpful. Because say if you want to read it all first, you highlight as you go, and you go back and look at what you highlighted. All your stuff will be right there still. How you doing, Ryan? Good. Yeah, once you're done, start filling in your chart. We're seeing if we can spot these elements on our own. How you guys doing? So give me one background one, like right off the bat. Yep. guys are working great. Keep it up. What? So think about the problem that's happening in the airport. There's a major conflict that's happening there that eventually gets resolved. Hey, make sure you guys are still staying on task. Jet, make sure you're still staying on task, please. What's the problem? Okay, you guys got about 5 more minutes. Make sure you guys have something, at least one thing in each of your boxes before we share. This will be turned in, so I want to see your work on your papers. We'll see, yeah, make sure. It should have been a pretty quick read. It was just 2 paragraphs. Someone can tell her. Okay, about 3 more minutes. Well, there's an easy read. Make sure you work to finish that last box there. It's okay, so I'm going to have one thing. You're just looking for those 4 elements in the text. Yeah. So remember, there's no right or wrong answers. I mean, there's definitely right answers, but this is more to test to see how you analyze a text. Okay, about 1 more minute. Say, wait, give me a thumbs up if you guys are done. You have something in each of the 4 boxes. A little bit more time. Make sure you guys find something to put in each of those 4 boxes.
Deacon, did you finish that last box? Finish it.
Okay, 30 more seconds. Okay, hey friends, lock in, Jet, lock in, buddy. Okay, I see a couple of you guys still working. That's okay. Maybe you're adding an extra detail. But let's come together and let's see what we came up with for our chart. Let's see if you guys found similar ideas or found different ones. Who knows? We'll find out right now. So, background in the story. What is some background in the story that you found that added to the text here? Anthony. Albuquerque Airport? Is that what you were going for? That's how to spell it. It's a long one. Albuquerque Airport. Everyone got that?
Yeah.
Very first sentence. That was a giveaway, right? New Hand Colton. Gate 4A. Specifically where in the airport? Yep. John, what's yours?
I was gonna put gate 4.
The same one?
Yeah.
Matt.
I put a Palestinian women wearing traditional clothing.
Palestinian woman. Issa?
Not really part of like the thing, but the cookie,
Say it one more time.
the cookie.
The cookies?
Yeah, they're kind of part of it.
I agree. It's a detail in there. Okay, make sure, hey, we're listening to our peers here. If you have something you guys want to add, make sure you raise your hand, please. Ryan,
Old country traveling tradition.
say it one more time.
Old country traveling tradition.
Traveling traditions?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Dom,
I said, like, they spoke Arabic.
spoke Arabic. Great. Detail.
Is there Arabic?
Okay, let's move on to problem or conflict. Go ahead.
Naomi.
Naomi? Naomi?
said Naomi.
Naomi.
Go ahead. Naomi. That's who in the story? The speaker, right?
And she could speak Arabic.
Can't forget the speaker. Okay, moving on to problem or conflict. What problems or conflicts arise in the text? A new hand. Atrina, do you have something for me? Okay, hold on, Atrina. Okay, friends, let's make sure we're listening when that speaker is talking. Atrina.
The older woman is crying on the floor, just kind of helpless.
Woman crying on the floor, feeling helpless. Great answer. What's another problem? Different hand here. So many hands. Deacon does not speak English. Were you going to say that too, Gazal?
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, is a huge issue in the story. The woman does not speak English. I guess you should capitalize these. Okay, one more problem or conflict. Rainy. Flight was delayed.
Wait, it's delayed?
What would you look at?
That's delayed and I'm detained.
Well, she was detained because her flight was probably delayed. You have a part to add to that?
I have a perfect conflict.
Okay.
Holding hands, which is spreading corona.
Say that again.
Holding hands, which is spreading corona.
All right. More creative thinking from Ryan here. I like it. Okay, let's think about the third box. What was the climax? Nothing. It wasn't like the last story where the climax was obvious what happened. This one is more kind of hidden in the text. So it wasn't like the most exciting event, but something special happened inside this airport. Gazal.
She got help.
She got help. How'd she get help? Right, she had trouble because she didn't speak English, so when they detained her, she was freaking out, like, what happened here? Was I never going to be able to fly and get my medical treatment, right? So she was able to get help. The woman got help. And would you also consider that to be a part of a solution or resolution? Right? I would consider that to also kind of be a part of this section. Drawing a little arrow. Ceci.
I said that the woman started passing out cookies because then after that, then everyone started doing all that things, and that's what the story ended up like, and that's what the second paragraph.
I'm gonna add that to my solution and resolution because I like that. Her mood completely changed, right?
I thought that influenced a lot of other things, like, then everyone else started passing out.
Okay, did anyone else get that as well? Few hands?
Yeah. I said all the women come together and share food.
Okay, anything else for these last two boxes, Ryan?
One thing for the climax, the airline
Okay,
served,
hold on. I need to hear Ryan here.
the airline served free beverages and nothing is free.
Oh, where would you put that?
Climax.
Free beverages was the most exciting part. Why not? I like it. Go ahead, Matt.
For solution, I put that she called her friend and talked with others and made some friends.
Spoke with family members. Spoke with related family members. Family and friends. We'll put friends as well. Anything else? Ryan, you've answered a lot. I'm going to hold off on you now. I want to include other people here. Albert, anything I haven't included yet? So I've gotten, the woman got help, she got free beverages, you passed out cookies, spoke with related friends and family. Any other climax or solutions or resolutions that you have? Did you say something? Quentin, you want to help him?
The woman was able to understand and speak to the other elderly woman.
Right. I would consider that as the umbrella of she got help. As long as we understand she got help by being someone else being able to speak her language, thankfully. Issa?
Kind of, like the special, but the speaker and the woman grew closer.
The speaker and the woman grew closer. I love that answer. Speaker and woman grew closer. Okay, so that's it for our story chart. I'm gonna call it there, but hold on, Ryan. Let's return back to our first question. Ryan, what is it? What do you got to share?
For climax, new best friend.
New best friend, yeah, that's kind of what Issa said there. Okay, so let's return back to our original question about if we were talking to our pen pal. These are some of the ideas that we had that we would include to our story. After reading and analyzing text, what else could we add now? What else did we learn today that we could add to our text that would give our pen pal almost a movie in words, in written words? Ceci?
You can put different like dialogue and things like that, like
Dialogue.
languages, like what we just did it. Actually, like put a sentence of it, like it.
Right? Make people say things. Give it set like a what? Deacon Wells.
Onomatopoeias.
Onomatopoeias. I'm not going to spell that up here, but yes, I like it. Haley, figurative language, we got that. What else have we learned today that we can add up here to give that visual? Ryan, you're on fire today, man.
The background theme and like the effort it took for the world, right?
Background and setting, right? Background / theme, you said. What else? What else did we analyze today that we could add to a text to make it interesting, make it come to life, John?
Well, it's not really like going on day, but it could be like illustrations, maybe.
Illustrations, sure. Illustrations, give that visual. Mackenzie. Add to the story. Make something interesting happen that the reader wants to keep reading. Adding a climax. Exactly. Okay, last, Anthony, was that yours? Okay. Saria.
Like adding a problem and a solution.
Making a problem in the story. We might not like to talk about problems, but people love to read about problems. May not be a huge issue, but it makes the story interesting. Having a conflict. Yep. And then last thing, Ceci.
You can have like compare and contrast things like that.
Comparing, contrasting text. Yes. No. Maybe if we're talking about other cultures. Okay, Madison, wrap us up. And a solution. If you have a conflict, you always want to ensure that you make a solution to your conflict, unless it's just an everlasting problem. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. Make sure you guys collect your papers, push them all into the middle, and hand them in. Make sure your name and number is on your paper.